Okay, after trying to find the right spot. Welcome back to another clip. So I started doing this thing, basically called Mercury retrograde reflection series, and I'm gonna do another one for this past Mercury retrograde that was in Leo and in Virgo. So it is September 3rd. All right, that's September 3rd. Yes, it's September 3rd. So I'm a little late, but it's just, I've been a little busy these past few days and the past week. So I haven't had a chance to record. But I'm going to just talk for a little bit. I'm not going to make this too long because I could go back to work, of course. But I just wanted to start with, this was an interesting Mercury retrograde. This was a very interesting one. The month of August, I will never doubt astrologers because even I was just trying to be optimistic and just be like, okay, like, it's going to be a good month regardless. But no, like, it wasn't a terrible month, but it was pretty bad. Like, it was pretty bad. It was a lot of stuff that happened. It was just very, very scary sometimes, very nerve-wracking at times. And I've had a lot of, like, realizations about life and about myself and just about how I want to continue moving within this world. So the retrograde started out okay, started out very normalish, and then things just started to heat up when, like, that week when Mars was squaring Saturn, when Jupiter was squaring Saturn, when Mars conjunct Jupiter, when it was a full moon in Aquarius. So like a lot, like all this stuff started happening at the same time, and of course, like the usual Mercury retrograde stuff go wrong, like power shutting out randomly. When I'm going to the gym, power shutting out when I'm working, and stuff like normal Mercury retrograde stuff like that. And I was just trying to just, you know, breeze by it and just go with the flow because I can't control these things that's happening, right? And then that week, I had went on vacation that week too, so I'm like, okay, be fine. Stuff going wrong on a vacation. It wasn't super terrible, but it was just like enough to be like, okay, like this is not like normal. And then like this on my way back, on my flight, I had like really bad like turbulence and stuff, and that was just like that was horrible. It was on the full moon too, and I like never experienced turbulence like that in my life. It was actually kind of scary for me and for my family that I was on the flight with. So that was just like something that kind of like shook me up a little bit. I know it was not that big of a deal. I've done my research on turbulence and stuff like that, and planes are relatively safe, but that situation scared me. But moving forward, yeah, so things going wrong and just delays and me not being able to do things that I wanted to do. Like literally, like I don't want to say exactly what's happening, but like literally, like things that was happening during this time is kind of like I'm going straight to this place. I'm going to this place. I'm on my way there. No doubts in my mind that I'm not gonna make it. Then something happens that I didn't expect to happen, and it stopped me from going to that place. And that's kind of a theme of things that's been happening, like with this retrograde, which is like, okay, it's Mercury retrograde, but it's just like important things that there was sometimes where I was blocked from something, and like it made me upset. I'm like, dang, like I really didn't expect this to not fall through, but it just didn't fall through. And you know, some things fell through after a few days after the retrograde. It just ended not that long ago. But during it, it was just like a whirlwind of emotions and things happening out of my control, unexpected things, having to change my schedule, like typical Mercury retrograde stuff. But it was in my 11th house this time around, and how I can see is like my 11th house is ruled by Leo and the sun, and my sun is located in my 7th house. So as far as me being involved in communities and making one-on-one relationships, I would say that kind of somewhat happened at the beginning of the retrograde. Like my 11th house is a little more active, even though it was in Virgo at the beginning. But I could say that for sure because it was also Leo season before the sun ingressed into Virgo. So that happened, and I just been having like realizations just about life. Like for example, I don't know, like the events that just transpired these past 2 weeks just made me really put everything in perspective. And also this stuff is happening, Jupiter, Mars stuff is happening in my 9th house. And Saturn's in my 6th house. It's like, wow, like I'm really grateful for life. Like truly, I'm truly grateful to just be here. I'm truly grateful to just be able to do things and just be in my right frame of mind, have good health, be able to move my body the way I want to move my body, to be able to do anything that I want to do. Like I've always been grateful, but this period of time, the experience that I've experienced in these past few weeks has made me really just understand the fact that it's a blessing to be here. It's truly a blessing to be here on this earth. It's a blessing to be here, and that's all I'm gonna say on that. As far as love life and dating, I don't know. I'm kind of like, of course, I've been talking and dating and stuff along those lines and stuff like that. I don't necessarily think I'm ready to get in a relationship still to this day. I'm still trying to focus on myself, even though I've been talking to some people and stuff like that. But I just want to not lose sight of myself again in a relationship. And that's something that I also learned too. It's like, no matter if I'm talking to people, because I know myself and I like people and I get attached easily. I'm an Aries. Like if I like you, I'm very sure in that moment that I like you. It's like no beating around the bush. No, I don't need to talk to you for a long, could be a blessing and a curse, which I'm trying to work on that. But typically, if I like somebody, I know I like them like not that long after we start talking, and I tend to want to put my energy into just that. But we are taking the lessons we learned in the past of moving quickly in relationships and just taking our time. And also, I write goals out for myself a lot, so just not losing sight of the goals that I had planned for myself outside of a relationship. And that's also another thing that I really learned. Like the relationships you have with yourself is just as important as the relationship that you make with others. So just not losing sight of that. But yeah, this retrograde was not fun the last 2 weeks. I will admit it was not fun at all. Psychologically, my brain has shifted, and for the better, even though I've experienced some terrible things in the past few weeks that I just don't want to experience again. But overall, it was a very eye-opening retrograde, if I might add. But yeah, it was in Leo, dramatic Leo, going through the last decan of Leo and the early decan of Virgo. Right now, it's still in Leo, so we're still in a shadow period, quote unquote. But yeah, and it's Virgo season now, so the sun is going through my 12th house. Mercury will soon be going back to my 12th house. We just had the Virgo new moon, and I just kind of been laying low and just isolating and just keeping myself on my routine, keeping myself on the things that I set for myself and not losing sight of what I set out to do with myself, which also it also translates into me having a relationship with myself first and foremost. So anybody out there, any recovering people pleasers or recovering codependent. I want to say I'm like really codependent, but I definitely am a recovering people pleaser. The relationship that you have with yourself is very important, and this is a note to myself as well, because I don't make these videos just to post on YouTube, but I also make them just so I can look back at them myself and see how far I have been coming on my journey in life. And yeah, that's all I got right now. I didn't want to make this video too long, but that's just some of the things that I realized during this retrograde. And yeah, I'm not going to really edit this. I'm going to just post it because I'll procrastinate. But this is my Mercury. This is my Mercury retrograde in Leo and Virgo reflection video. Thank you. And I'll see you when I come back with another clip.